Good evening. Good evening.
I'm not part of the family, I'm just subjected to it.
Again, some great conversations obviously happening around the room, but I have to get over the top of with the help of some amplification. So, welcome to the inaugural Fair Farms Gala Dinner and Awards. Again, great to be here, amazing view. Giving ourselves a round of applause. So having the wisdom and foresight of being here again, I feel it really will be like Woodstock. Keen to keep repeating that because from what I've seen of today, I'm so keen for this to continue. From all that I've heard today, it's so important that our industry has this conversation and that we have a space to tell really positive stories. So, that's probably the main thing that I've taken away from today. And, I wish Fair Farms every success, and I really hope to be back at a conference somewhere around Australia in a horticultural growing region. Who knows where that might be. I'm not sure if there's an announcement tonight where the next conference is. I think it's for the team. It's probably too soon to be talking about that. My job again here is being your MC and getting us through the formalities. We do have a couple of speeches from our sponsors to start with, and then followed by our chair, Liz Prince. Looking forward to those words from those three. Then we have a couple of awards to give out. There are 2 recognition awards and the Fair Farmer of the Year, which, again, excited to see who that might be. So without any further ado, sorry, I should probably also just note bar tab for those interested in those details. Until 9:30 tonight, I think that's a good amount of time, so please make yourself familiar with the bar. I'm not sure if that detail is right. Amanda's giving a look. And look, after that, the town of Coffs Harbour is ours. Just down the road, if anyone is interested. I'd like to take the opportunity again to recognise the traditional custodians of the Gumbalbir people and lands and waterways in which we live, work and play. Pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. And with that, I'll pass on to James for an address. Thank you, James.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm not going to talk for too long. I won't delay the delicious food that we're about to have. I just want to spend 5 or 10 minutes talking to you about labour. So people within organisations, and some of the challenges we're facing in that sector, and some opportunities to overcome those challenges. So my name is James. I work for a business called Tarto, and we do workforce management software specifically designed for the horticulture market. So I'm sure many in the room are kind of feeling a bit of a squeeze at the moment. Things like input costs are rising, the export market's a bit tricky, labour's hard to find, skilled labour even harder to find, and all of those kind of labour costs are going up and up. So it's with that kind of context I want to deliver this presentation. So commonly, labour costs make up at least 50% of growing costs each season, sometimes in excess of 75% depending on the crop. But labour tends to be a really underinvested area in terms of technology. Inputs, harvests, those sort of things are well managed, but labour, being so expensive and so valuable, is often underinvested in. We've been able to get away with that up until now using things like clipboards, pen and paper, Excel to manage our teams. But with these new pressures and challenges, we need to think carefully about how we're investing in technology and managing our people. So, quick Darwin quote for you. It's not the biggest or most intelligent that survives, it's the most adaptable to change. So organisations and people that can welcome change, adapt and overcome will be the ones that survive and thrive. We've been farming for 10,000 years, kind of preaching to the choir here, but again, over that time there's been lots of need to change, and it's the ones that have done so that have gone on to thrive. So how do we adapt and overcome? How do we turn these challenges into opportunities? And for us at Tarto, we think it's having answers to simple questions like these. So 1, do I understand my labour costs in detail? Do I understand where I'm spending my money on labour? Do I understand my labour productivity? So in detail, how productive are my individuals and my teams being, and what levers are available for me to pull to be able to increase that productivity. How can I optimize my labour spending? So where can I invest more money, where can I invest less money to get the best outcome? And how am I able to control those elements of labour that are within my control? If we can answer those questions, we should be okay. Our kind of mantra at Tato, one of our central processes is, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So if you can't measure it, or you choose not to measure it, in this case your workforce, then it becomes very difficult to manage. So while there's no easy solution, there are some kind of basic habits that businesses can adopt to put them in a good position. The first one is always be collecting workforce data. So not just managers, not just administrators, but your whole team need to be empowered to collect data on a daily basis about the work that they're doing. Second, if you can incentivize pay, then do. Piece rate payments, incentivized payments consistently show increases in productivity of above 20%, even up to 40%, so really significant numbers. The third is be transparent. So as you're collecting all this data, as you're incentivizing your workers, make all of that information as transparent as possible, as quickly as possible, so you can empower your workers to understand where they're at, and so they can take control of their day-to-day lives. We've got kind of a three-step flywheel here. First step is performance. So measure performance, evaluate performance, reward performance, and communicate it within your organisation. Second one's transparency again, so really empowering your workers to understand where they're at day to day, and then they can make decisions to determine the outcomes of their job and their day. And finally is trust. So this is that relationship between employee and employer, which was mentioned earlier. If you can be transparent, if you can reward hard work, then you'll build that trust. And that trust is kind of central to retaining staff, attracting new staff, and building motivation. So what I talked about up to this point are the kind of general concepts and principles that actually will deliver the change. But how do we kind of make that happen? And in our opinion, technology is the enabler of that change. It allows you to do it, and it allows you to make that process easy as well. So Tato is a workforce management platform designed specifically for the horticulture industry. At its most basic level, we've created some very, very simple tools that enable workers to collect data each day. So we have an app that sits on your phone or on your tablet out on the farm, in the orchard, in the vineyard, which your workers engage with and collect job information. So the key thing here is that the app needs to be extremely simple to use. There's a real diversity in terms of language, in terms of interest in technology and horticulture. So first and foremost, it needs to be simple and intuitive to collect that information. Once you've got the information, you can start answering some of the questions that I talked about on the other slide. You can understand your costs in great detail, so down to the block level, task level, variety. You can do year-on-year comparisons and really get to grips with where your labour expenditure is going. You can understand productivity down to the individuals within your organisation or the teams. You can understand which people need more training and support, which ones are doing really well and can perhaps be promoted up to more senior roles. And you can understand exactly where you can optimise your spend as well. So can I spend less on X and more on Y, and what will the results be? Beyond the kind of insights, you also have functional benefits as well. So we collect timesheets for all of our workers, which can then be imported directly into your payroll system. So that makes that process streamlined and reduces errors. And another key thing we do is handle piece rates. So collecting all of your piece rate information, doing the calculations on it to understand what workers are earning, and where needed, we'll do those automatic top-ups to minimum wage as well. As of April this year, obviously that's come into law. So we do all of that for you, and we ensure that you're going to be compliant with the piece rates that we're waiting. So again, we enable you to be able to measure it, and at that point it becomes much easier to manage. So there's a bit of an overview video of what we do. Hopefully this will make it a bit clearer for you guys.
Making operational decisions quickly and accurately from data fresh off the field is priceless. No more waiting for days or weeks to understand what is happening in your business. Tato is the digital solution that works for your whole team. Specifically designed to remove pen and paper from your outdoor operations, collecting digital timesheets and managing jobs in full with the aim of increasing productivity and efficiency. Motivating your team with piece rates and reducing absenteeism is simple. Cargill takes productivity and efficiency to the next level, ensuring you get the most from the resources you have. Get the information you need to make decisions with speed and confidence. Cargill automatically calculates top-ups to minimum wage and seamlessly connects to any payroll system to provide peace of mind and much more. All done on or offline. Cargill puts you in control. We take care of the human side of growing a business so you can focus on growing your crops. Measure what matters and realize the power of your data with Cargill. Get started today.
Cool, so just a couple more minutes. You can see on the board behind me a few of the customers we work with. Really important to note we work with all employers, so labour hire companies, contractors and growers, the whole gamut. We basically want to capture all of your workforce data, so if you've got contract labour on your property, direct employees, casuals, etc., we want to make sure we're capturing that full picture. Hopefully you recognise some of the brands behind me, but we work with everyone from those kind of global companies to national growers, all the way down to small, medium sized operations as well. Just to kind of back things up, we've got a few testimonials. So this is Andrew from Harvey Citrus in WA. He actually came across Tato via his labour hire company, and once he saw the extra information they were able to provide, he kind of wanted that for himself, for all of his employees. And the key things for him were staying on top of costs and managing productivity. The next one is Infinity Farms in Mildura. They're big advocates for piece rates, and they were very aware of the law change that was coming into effect. So they brought Tato on board to help manage those piece rates and ensure they were compliant in terms of top-ups and things like that from day one. And SW Labour Solutions in Margaret River, viticulture contracting business. They wanted to massively improve their kind of day-to-day functions, so their payroll and their invoicing. Bringing in Tato helped reduce the total payroll time from 3.5 days down to 2, and significantly reduce those payroll errors that they were experiencing beforehand. So we talked about trust, transparency earlier. Reducing payroll errors and making that process kind of watertight is a really central process. And obviously we're not alone in this kind of agri-tech ecosystem. We work alongside lots of other players. Our niche is people management, so looking after the kind of humans within your organisation. Lots of others have machinery, specialisms, health and safety, etc. But we position ourselves kind of in that human space, but we interact with other systems quite a lot as well. So if you recognise any of the other providers on the board, feel free to get in touch with them and they'll be familiar with us. And that's about it, really. Thank you for listening. If anyone wants to talk to me during dinner or afterwards, please grab me. Otherwise, reach out on our website and we can have a chat. Cheers, guys.
Thank you, James and Tato, for your support in being a gold sponsor of the conference. It's fantastic. We really appreciate your support. Our other gold sponsor is AusVeg. AusVeg is the peak industry body for Australia's potato and vegetable growers across the whole country. They have been a staunch supporter of their farmers program since its inception and at this conference. And so we thank you very much to AusVeg for your continued support. I would now like to welcome ProCom Chair Belinda Prince to the stage for some words. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard. If you haven't MC before, you might have a new gig, a side gig after running the NFS Sport Council, which I'm sure is a gig within itself. And as many of you know, that Richard was our advocate, and now moving on to the NFS, so we're very excited to obviously continue working with him in this space, as we all seem to go around in circles, and we all end up back at GrowCom somewhere along the line, welcoming Donna back to the team as well. So historically, you never know. So for everyone, I am Belinda Prince. I'm the current GrowCom chair. I'm also the deputy chair of AusVeg, and have always been an advocate for fair farms. Obviously, both within the board capacity and more importantly as a grower. So I'm a grower based on the Gold Coast, and we process fresh salads and herbs for one of the major retailers. And obviously, everything that you've talked about today, I know personally within my own business, sometimes it is hard to take my hat off and say, GrowCom chair, grower, GrowCom chair, grower, and I have to take all that on board. But how proud, I cannot say how more proud you could be as a chair of an organisation that over a 3-year period has taken that something that national companies can take a decade to put in place. And we have not only taken that funding, implemented, but we now have the ground truth. Here we are all here tonight after celebrating a fabulous day together, talking about some really nitty-gritty stuff, some really core heart business activities, and we've done it effectively. Obviously there's things that we can take away, some learnings from today, but I feel like we have already really chipped away at that iceberg and we have been really successful in our approach. I'd like to take the opportunity to recognise the traditional custodians, the Gundabanya people and the lands and waterways which they live, work and play on, and pay my respect to elders past, present and emerging. I want to acknowledge the conference sponsors. Tato, it's the first time I've heard of it, and wow, sounds fantastic. Everyone's sitting around the tables going, how's it that we don't know these things exist? And so it is really refreshing to have you here, because how often we sit in front of our payroll pulling our hair out, wondering there must be something better. So definitely take up those opportunities that you have tonight with you here present, and obviously when you return to your businesses. And spread the word too, because how often we leave these conventions or conferences and we forget in 2 weeks, and I was talking about that with Richard, that how quickly we forget things and we don't share them more broadly out in our grower community. I think as an industry person who's been involved now for 8 years on the board, that's actually our role, is to take what we learned here and disseminate it to as many other people that we can across our growing businesses and what other places you play in our food supply chains. I also want to take the opportunity to thank and acknowledge the dignitaries that joined us today. So it was wonderful to see the Leader of the Nationals Party and Federal Shadow Minister, the Honourable David Littleproud. Also for the Federal Member for Cowper, Mr Pat Cunahan, and the Member of Coffs Harbour, Mr Gurmish Singh. I want to acknowledge every single one of you. Now I know that I got up at 2:30 this morning, up on the Gold Coast, to go to work, to make sure that my facility was up and running, which is predominantly what I have to do before I leave to come away to an industry or venture activity. After I've done that production start-up, ensure the orders are right, that my staff are present, they're all happy accounted for, then I can leave my business and come away to spend a day with you. So after 3.5 hours of driving to get here, I really heartfelt feel like it was a really wonderful use of my time today. I hope that every single one of you also takes that away. I've been listening to everybody in this room talking about all the little tidbits, whether it be from which person you took it from, what resonated with you, what improvements that you're going to make. But beyond everything, your commitment to your industry and to Fair Farms to be present today is a wonderful achievement. So I'd really like to take the opportunity to thank you, and I will try and reach out to you as we go along through the evening. Delivered and developed by the peak industry body GrowCom, the Fair Farms program is the only Australia-wide training and certification program for fair and ethical employment practices on farm. Remembering the most important component of that is the training mechanism. I truly believe that if we want to put certification in place, we have to create culture change. And that's a culture within our businesses that is from top down and then from bottom up. That we are working together as a team to create that change. And it's not just about an audit, although I personally know all about audit jitters. I am over-audited. I've got ethical, I've got CFMSR, and I've also got my SQF audit. So I feel like I'm having an audit once a month at the moment. It's a little bit ridiculous. You do get audit jitters, but I think the important thing that, as Joanne was saying, is it's what you actually take out of that audit when your auditor leaves the room. Apart from a few, it's over, thank God, give me a drink, or 10. I'll get over it, but tomorrow I'll come back refreshed and reinvigorated, and I'll look at my corrective actions, see how I can develop them within the business, and for me personally, how do I get a better score? What else can I do in my business? What else is best practice that I can actually go over and above what I've done this year, not for the audit's sake, but for all of the people within my team. So the aim of the program is for Australian farmers is that we're doing the right thing by employees and worker wellbeing, and as we focus within our business operations. This is accomplished through Fair Farms grower members taking up a third-party certification audit. That is a massive thing for businesses to do. This is a huge paradigm shift. We are all over our food safety certification as it's been around for a very long time. The ethical certification is obviously quite new, but look how quickly as an industry that we have adapted and we have taken up this program and developed it within our business. So once again, hats off to growers for being so resilient and adaptive. The audit process is based on Fair Farms standards and rules, which have been developed by industry professionals to ensure compliance with Australian workplace laws and regulations. Fair Farms offers comprehensive support as well as training through our online learning module platform, and growers can learn more about workplace laws and regulations. Once again, so important about the culture and the professional development that we require. The program also runs regular workshops, in person, online, and changes or updates the workplace relations laws in Australia. Not all of us can be experts in the room, so fantastic we do have lots of you. But when we return back to our businesses, we rely on those experts to feed us that relevant information. As a program, Fair Farms has only been around for 3 years, but has succeeded in firmly cementing its claim as an Australian-centric ethical program for choice for horticulture growers. With more than 370 grower members, the program covers more than 13,000 horticulture workers. Fair Farms is truly helping to shape a positive outlook for the horticulture industry. My only one regret around Fair Farms, and old Rachel will remember, that with the Prime Minister at the time, Scott Morrison, we announced Fair Farms. Now, it was a very new announcement. It was fresh off, hot off the topic. He was on his bus and he was doing the road tour, and we were at a strawberry farm up on the Gold Coast, and he pulled up and we were doing this announcement, and it was all wonderful, and he completely forgot to announce how much money he had actually dedicated to the program. And unfortunately, I wasn't witty enough at that time to double that commitment and put it out there for the rest of the nation. And I did actually put them up at the end, and I said, you actually didn't announce the commitment, you're very lucky that I gave the truthful figure, otherwise we could have been aiming a little bit higher. So that's my only regret of that day. And to the GrowCon board for giving up your time and for being so present in this activity. It really has been a road that we have travelled on together, and that commitment, as Rachel was talking about, in terms of fresh care and where it was going to go and who was going to own it, and it came back to us as a board, and we were committed, we were cemented in this process. And that brings me to the team. Can I ask please the Fair Farms team, if you could stand where you are so that everybody can see your wonderful faces in the room. Stand. Our Fair Farms team, don't be shy. Thank you all so much. I was just talking and commenting down with some people by the wonderful hill while we were enjoying a cocktail, how much of a family you are. And how Sachin, feel as though your team just rallies together, works away through all of those problems and those issues. And to me, we just see this wonderful output. I know I did overhear you say you're not sure how this all came together, but clearly someone in your team has been working very hard behind the scenes. So well done to you all. Tonight's awards are going to recognise the positive contribution people have made to the Fair Farms program. as well as their contributions to creating positive change in relation to workplace relations and workplace health and safety within the horticulture industry. So for anyone who was nominated and present here tonight, the very best wishes and the best of luck. I think you've already taken out the prize. If you have gone through an audit and survived, you are a winner. We have 2 recognition awards to give out tonight as well, and of course our inaugural Fair Farmer of the Year award, which is awarded to a Fair Farm certified grower with outstanding business and people practices in accordance with the Fair Farm standard. Thank you all again so much for being here tonight. I only hope that in another 12 months that we do get together again and to share our stories and our learnings 12 months on, bigger, brighter, fitter and more sustainable. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Belinda, for those words. We're just going to take a 10-minute break as our entrees are cleared. We'll be back with the awards after that. Don't be surprised if your main meal circulates while those awards are being presented. Thank you. Welcome back. As the main meals come around and you're enjoying them, we're going to do some awards, a couple of recognition awards to start with. Fair Farms Recognition Awards recognise an organisation or an individual who has significantly contributed to the betterment of the program and the industry. The first of our recognition awards goes to an individual who has been instrumental at the very beginning of the Fair Farms program. The winner of the very first recognition award is Shane Sterling. Alice is coming up to receive that award once you've tried a shoelace.
Obviously, Shane couldn't be here tonight. He's out busy doing witness audits on our auditors. He does pass along his thanks for receiving this award. Just personally, Shane has been a fantastic mentor for me. He's taken all his knowledge that he developed through Fair Farms and other sort of social compliance auditing, and he's managed to get me somehow through the first ASCO exam. So I'm really thankful for that. Cheers.
Congratulations to Shane. We have our second and last recognition award now to give out. This award goes to an individual who, like Shane Sterling, has been with the program in one form or another from the very beginning. They've championed the program and were instrumental in getting it off the ground. Congratulations, Rachel McKenzie.
Gosh, might as well say again. What are you? This is actually completely unexpected. I'm totally blown away because, you know, as I said today, it was a bit of a passion piece for me in the beginning, but it really wasn't just me. There's people like Jane Muller and Donna Mogg and Claire Hamilton-Bay and Annabelle Hutch, who might be names that you don't know, but they were absolutely really important at the beginning. And so I feel like I'm kind of taking this award on behalf of all of those people. And I'd like to kind of paraphrase the words of Regurgitator. Those of us from the 90s will probably recognise it. I like your old Rachel better than your new Rachel. Actually, no, I'm really impressed by the new Rachel, and I'm so glad that she's the CEO of Vodacom. I think it's fantastic that they have the first female chair, and she's called Rachel. Like, what could be better, honestly?
Thank you so much. I enjoyed seeing the two Rachels together. We met briefly. That was fantastic, and we've got plenty of photos of that, which is awesome. We're going to take a brief break now as we enjoy our meals, and we come back with Fair Farmer of the Year. Righto, everyone. I hope you enjoyed dinner. I certainly did. It's a fantastic piece of chicken. Now for the award we've all been waiting for. The last and most exciting award of the evening is the Fair Farmer of the Year Award 2022. This award is awarded to a Fair Farm certified grower with outstanding business and people practices in accordance with the Fair Farm standard and rules. They are also a champion of the program and a natural ambassador for ethical employment. Nominees are Donovan Group, Valicia Farms, and Sunrise. The winner of the very first Fair Farm of the Year award, we're going to Gatton. The winner is Sunrise.
You can all get
Come in, everyone get in there.
Let's go more this way. Yeah, there you go.
Come on, it's
And Samara, Luke, a couple of words.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of myself, Luke, Jason, Dean, and our wonderful team at Sunrise, we are so honoured to present this award, the first of its kind. I just want to say that when Fair Farms did come about and we had the opportunity to become a part of it, we really jumped at the opportunity to support an Australian program that is actually relevant to our industry. We think it's fantastic that we now have the capability to really prove to potential employees and customers that we are really trying to do the right thing by our employees. And we think it's really special to do that. So, again, thank you very much, and we're very grateful for this award.
That concludes tonight's formal proceedings. Thank you so much for your time and attendance during this last part, during the dinner. Please enjoy the dessert that will come around shortly. And again, bar tab until about 9:30. Make the most of that. Have a great night.